So, Deadman Wonderland is one of those anime that, while being good, never really got continued. It really is a shame, especially when I remember it kicking up a bit near the end, as most of these do, but oh well. If you have seen this anime, then I'm sure you remember it by its kick-ass intro song, and I do too. To be fair, I used to have it as my ringtone a few years back because of how good it was. But before we get into all of that, I might as well give you a bit of the story and what I thought of it. Also, if you've read the manga, I've heard that bits of the story were missing within the anime, and while I can't confirm that, I hope you'll still appreciate why I enjoyed the show. We start off with Ganta Igarashi. He's a normal schoolboy living in Japan. A few years prior, there was a huge earthquake that caused massive destruction and happened due to an anomaly. Now, how does this have anything to do with our main protagonist Ganta? Well, while at school one day, a floating man covered in red armor, nicknamed the Red Man, floated down to Ganta's school and proceeded to massacre everyone in his class, including his two best friends. Later, he wakes up to the Red Man holding the severed head of his now deceased close friend. Being the only survivor and now mentally scarred, he gets blamed for the mass murder and is sent to a prison. But this is anime, so of course this isn't your typical prison. Instead, it is a theme park called Deadman Wonderland, where the main attraction are the prisoners that were blamed for heinous crimes, and to survive they must do two things. First, they must work and earn caste points, which are the prison's main form of currency. And second, they must eat a type of candy which apparently tastes like shit but keeps them alive. You see, each prisoner has a collar put on them when they arrive, and that collar pumps poison into their bloodstream. This poison only kills the prisoners after 3 days, and in order to add more time to their now miserable lives, they must eat the candy, which is a type of antidote, and adds another 3 days to their collar. The prisoners may earn the candy by either buying it using their caste points, or by winning small tournaments which are watched by the general public, because remember, this is a theme park after all. Anyways, Ganta has to learn these new rules and try to survive in this harsh prison, and throughout his time there he meets new people such as Shiro, a white-haired girl who, despite saying she knows Ganta, he has no memory of her at all. I should probably mention that at this point Ganta was blamed for the murder for a reason, and the Red Man also did something to him before he passed out. He placed a red crystal into Ganta's chest, which we later find out is quite important. On his journey to find the Red Man, Ganta discovers that he has the power to control his blood and shoot it, which I'm sure you can guess is due to the crystal, and through certain circumstances gets himself named a Deadman and is forced to fight against other people using his newfound power. The reason he's named a Deadman is because there are others who have the ability to control their blood as a weapon, but each individual has a different way of using them and they are all named Deadmen. We later find out why these people have these abilities, but unfortunately because there's only 12 episodes with a single OVA, I'm not going to delve deeper as to not spoil much more. On that note, I give the story a 8 out of 10. The reason for this is because I find the story very intriguing and new for its time. I really wish it had continued, but since it came out more than 10 years ago, I don't think that's happening. For all you manga enthusiasts who have read this one, I'm sure you're telling me to do the same as the story goes further in the manga. However, I'm afraid I'm not that big of a manga fan, and I just can't get the same experience out of reading a book than I can watching an anime, and believe me, I've tried. But if you're watching and you enjoy reading, then maybe give this one a try. I can't say whether it's good or better than the show because I haven't read it, but if what I'm hearing is true, then it's worth it. Another reason I didn't give the story a higher rating is because of its pacing. It fell off at times, but it wasn't super bad where it ruined it or anything. I'm sure the manga is a lot more expanded, but it is what it is. As for the characters, they get a 7 out of 10. Honestly, the only parts I like about the characters are their designs. I mean, the main character is just not super good in my opinion, and while his backstory getting into Deadman Wonderland is gruesome, he just isn't the best. My favorite character would have to be Senji, mainly because of his powers and how tough he is within the show, which you'll get to see if you watch it. Now, I wish I could say more about the characters, and there definitely are some cool characters in the show, but for 12 episodes, I just didn't see enough to give a longer explanation, unfortunately. The action, however, gets another 8 out of 10. It doesn't have a massive amount of action, however it does pick up near the end, and it is pretty good. It helps that the characters in the show have the ability to use their blood as a weapon, so you get to see some really cool abilities. Though, once again, I wish there was more, but unless I read the manga, which probably won't happen, I won't know if there's a better character. The sound gets a good 8.5 out of 10. I really didn't think there were many issues in this department, and let's be honest, the opening fucking rocks, but there's not much in terms of the actual sound design. When the characters use their abilities, it does sound great, but there'd need to be more for me to give it a higher rating, which is why it isn't a 9. Within the show, there's also pretty good music as well, either within the battles or outside of it, but yeah, there's that. In terms of animation, it was clean, and once again I didn't find many problems, and it fit for what the show was. There were some pretty gruesome scenes that were very well done, and they were actually disturbing to watch. But then again, all you have to do is watch the first episode and you'll know what you're getting yourself into, so this one gets a 9 from me. Overall, we rack up to 40.5 out of 50. I really wish I could talk about it more when it comes to the show, but due to it not getting any further seasons or episodes, that's not happening. It's a good show with a lot of potential, and it'll definitely stay in my memory as the anime with one of the sickest openings ever, so there's that. But yeah, that's it for this one. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to give us a like and maybe press that subscribe button. Let us know what you thought in the comments below, as we love to hear what you thought of the review and maybe what you thought of the manga. Anyways, see you in the next review.